Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Marie and I are going to give you a brief overview of the requirements for the WIL assessment period, especially for the fourth years, and what we expect. We are doing away with the PR forms. We only require you to complete 2 rubrics while assessing the students, and these are rubrics 11 and 12. The rubrics are contained in a document called Mentor Teacher Guidelines. They have been uploaded to eFundi, so the students should have access to them. So these are the only 2 rubrics that we require you to complete. You don't have to bring the rubrics back to the university. Please leave your assessed rubrics with the students. They add the rubrics to their portfolio, which they submit to us on the 7th of September. I'm going to give you an overview of these 2 rubrics quickly. This is the document that we provide to the students and which is made accessible to the teachers. If we scroll down, you will see summative assessment. It's right at the bottom. 11 and 12, just after that. The document also contains rubrics for the teachers and also the essays development points. Point 8 says competence summative lesson assessment. If we go down, you will see the first one, assessment rubric 11, competence, content, knowledge, and application for content. So this first rubric, we want you to look at the content knowledge that the student is providing to the learners and the application of this. So on the left-hand side, you will see criteria, and these are the core things that will guide you. So then you decide whether the student does not meet the requirements, approaches expectations, meets the expectations, or exceeds. The first one, did the student in relationship to content knowledge, did the student teacher demonstrate sufficient knowledge of the content? Did she or he answer learner questions accurately, model appropriate content-specific vocabulary? And then specifically the second component, language. Did he or she formulate appropriate questions at all levels of Bloom's taxonomy? And once again, appropriate vocabulary usage. The importance of the taxonomy is that we want them to ask challenging questions, even if they are placed in a grade R classroom. Questions such as, for example, how many bears were there in Goldilocks and the Three Bears? That's lower order questioning and is not even appropriate at a grade R level. So they need to be asking open-ended questions and challenging the learner's thinking. The second one, representation. Did the student teacher provide clear, accurate explanations of the content? So whatever they are busy focusing on within the lesson, you need to make sure that it is effective and appropriate. Meaningful, appropriate examples. Did they choose appropriate, relevant means to represent the content? And then also the inquiry materials. How did they locate the information that they want to present to the learners? How did they do their questioning? Incorporate specific thinking skills. So the focus in this very first rubric then is on content knowledge and how it is represented. The rubric is you allocate a mark out of 16 for each of the components. It is therefore 4. So in total, 16. The second rubric focuses on the teaching to the entire class. In other words, this is a more general thing. For example, once again, the first criteria, relevance. Did they incorporate learner interests, build on prior experiences, existing knowledge, incorporate learner decision-making in some or other aspect? Provide a justification for teaching strategies that they've chosen. Is it relevant? The instruction per se, did they elicit and interpret learner thinking, or was it merely a discussion of content and the learners were very passive in general? Did they provide direction and guidance related to the objectives? Was it clear? Did the learners know what was expected of them? And was there any feedback at all? And was it relevant? The last two components, the learner response, and this is where we want you to focus on what the learners were doing. Did they appear motivated? Were they engaged with the lesson and remain on task for the entire duration? Was there a period where some of them were just hanging around, really doing nothing? And once again, were they engaged at various levels of Bloom's taxonomy? Appropriate asking of questions, and then learner thinking. Did the student teacher formatively assess learner speaking, writing, thinking? Did they recognize common patterns of learner thinking and development and identify an instructional response or strategy in response to learner thinking? In other words, they've got to think on their feet. If they've got a pre-planned lesson, very often lessons don't go according to how you planned because of a variety of factors. So was it evident that they could plan, make decisions while communicating with the learners? Once again, the rubric counts out of 16, 4 for each of the components. Please indicate the total out of 16, and as I mentioned previously, please leave these marked rubrics. Just add your signature, please, as well as the date of assessment, and leave it with the students who will then add these within their portfolios. And it will be marked overall by our assessment team as soon as it comes, the portfolios are received at the university. Thank you very much for your time. If there are any other questions, you are more than welcome to contact me via email. Thank you very much and enjoy your WIL practical sessions.